Hello, Wayne. How's everything going?
I'm all right. How are you, Evan?
Good, good, good. So we're here for the second session,
Mhm.
and we're going to be picking off where we left off with from the first session.
Okay.
So if I can recall what transpired in that first session,
Mhm.
you were telling me that your wife wanted you to stop drinking,
Mhm.
and same thing with your doctor, and that you were also telling me that you consume alcohol pretty frequently on a daily basis, sporadically, and so I just wanted to go further
Mhm.
with that.
Sure.
And speaking of your wife and your doctor,
Mhm.
is there anybody else that has expressed concern for the amount of drinks that you consume?
No.
Not any of your friends or siblings or other relatives?
No, I don't have any siblings.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
No. No. Just really those two, and primarily I think it's because the people I hang out with, we all we drink together, so it's just kind of what we do.
Right, right. And I remember you mentioning to me that you and your friends uh, play softball a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and you all did you say that you all drink before that game, before the games?
No, after.
Oh, after.
Yeah. We'll meet in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Never during the game.
Right.
It's after the game.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes at practice,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and we yeah,
Oh,
that's about it.
okay. Well, I can understand you wanting to uh, participate in those activities since your peers are. I'm assuming they're all around your age, right?
Pretty much. Well, some are younger.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot older, but
Yeah.
you know, we're various age groups. I mean, I'm in my 50s, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple of us in our 50s, and then guys in their 40s, 20s.
Oh, okay. So
So,
it
you know.
varies. I didn't know if it was like an age
No.
kind of thing. Oh, I see. I see. But anyway, I can understand you wanting to partake in those activities since your teammates are doing that
Mm-hmm.
as well. So, with that being said, have you ever given any thought of you not drinking at all for a little while or anything?
No, I never have. It's only come up recently. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
My wife thinks it's a problem. My doctor thinks it's something I need to take care of.
Right.
And I finally went to court this past week
Mm-hmm.
for the DUI.
Oh.
So I got to do. They gave me what they call probation before justice.
Yep.
PBJ.
Yep.
And so I got to go to outpatient for half a year, and I had to pay a $5,000 fine.
Oh, wow.
And I have to do probation for 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to go to. They want me to go to AA meetings
Mm-hmm.
like 3 times a week.
Three times a week.
Yeah, I got to get these slips signed.
Oh, okay.
So got to do what I got to do.
Right.
So,
Right.
maybe I'll learn something.
So speaking of those AA meetings,
Mhm.
when do you start doing that?
I have to start. I think it's this is the beginning of November. They want me to start. I think they want me to have at least. I got to sign up for the IOP for the next set of sessions with IOP. So I think that's going to be at the beginning of December. So I'll have to. I also have to do community service.
Oh, okay.
Like 60 hours of community service.
Oh.
So I have to find out where I go to sign up for that. And so yeah, they really get you. They really get you.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
So, I got to figure all this out and I'm going to talk to my attorney, because not only do I have to pay the court, the fine, but I have to pay him. So, I'll ask him when I need to start.
Yeah.
So, I'll probably be calling him in the next couple of days to get an idea.
Oh, okay.
Softball's over right now until the spring. So
it's a seasonal thing. Okay.
Yeah, we play spring through fall, spring, summer, fall, and so. But I also bowl in the wintertime and play darts. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah, and it's with a lot of the same guys.
Oh, okay.
So because during the winter, there's just no leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
But that's what's going on.
Okay. Well, you mentioned an IOP. What does that stand for?
Intensive outpatient.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they tell me.
Yeah. So that's what you're. So where do you go for that?
They gave me a list of places to call. I think they have one at the health department.
Mm-hmm.
There's David Collins, White Flint. There's probably a few more on the list. I think there's 5 or 6 on the list. So I just have to call around and see when I can first find out from my attorney when I have to start.
Right.
And it might be on my court papers. I can look at them when I go home, and then start calling.
Yeah.
And actually talk to my attorney and see if there's one he recommends. So.
Okay.
I'll start taking care of that.
And so with the IOP, how long do you have to be at those places for?
I don't know how long it's classes.
Yeah. Classes. Yeah.
I think it's once a week, and it's for 26 weeks. I know it's half a year, and that's one of the mandates by the court is that I have to complete that.
Yeah.
If I walk away, I'm not in compliance.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess they give you probation before judgment. If I complete community service, the IOP, the probation, and attend the meetings, I already paid the fine.
Yeah, at least that part's out of the way.
Yeah. So if I do those 4, probation is the longest part, which is the year, 12 months, which actually isn't very long. When I was in court, people were getting like 2 years and 3 years, but they had longer. They had it wasn't necessarily their first offense. And
that one was yours, right?
Yeah, and they also had public defender. I had my own attorney.
Oh,
so,
I see.
I mean, I don't know if that made a difference or not.
Right.
But a year taking care of this, and I guess I won't be drinking after softball games anymore. I can't. I don't want to get caught a second time because that's not going to be good.
So you got, if I can remember correctly, or I don't know if you mentioned it in the first session, did you get your DUI after a softball game? Because from what you were telling me, you were saying I shouldn't be drinking after these games.
Yeah.
It was after, okay.
It was after we had played and I was going home and I got pulled and fortunately I only had I think 3 or 4 beers. My when I blew the breathalyzer, it was pretty low, but it was above the legal limit.
Oh, I see.
So I got popped, and But I mean, if it had been, if it was a normal, I didn't have that much that night. If it was a normal night where I'd had 10 or 15, I'd probably been in jail, and I'd been looking at a lot more time.
I would imagine that being dramatically over the legal limit.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you got your DUI, was there any passengers in the vehicle?
No.
You were just by yourself? Yeah. Okay, and you were on your way home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
I guess.
Yeah. So, I remember you mentioning from the first session that you like to go to other events. You mentioned to me that you liked going to, I think it was basketball games at UMES or baseball games, something like that. Have you ever thought about doing more of those type of activities? Well, including the darts and bowling and softball. Have you ever thought about doing those activities with a sober mindset?
Well, when I go to local sporting events, I'm not intoxicated.
Oh, that's right, because of the campus regulations.
I don't take booze onto high school property or college property, so that's not an issue.
That part, okay, yeah.
So,
but before you go bowling and doing other activities with your friends, have you've never given the thought to do that without drinking?
Because when we play darts, it's in a bar.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Then that would.
And the bowling alley, there's a bar, so And when we play softball, we bring it with us.
Yeah.
I put it in my truck, and in a cooler, I have a double size, a big cooler. Fill it up with ice. Fill it up with beer.
Yeah. Well, I can understand the temptation of wanting to consume alcohol at these events, especially considering that there is a bar when you're playing darts and when you're bowling, and then all your buddies are doing it, and it would encourage you to do that as well. So do all of them do it, or is there anybody there that doesn't drink at all?
Oh yeah. There are guys who, when they're done, there's when we play ball, we have I think there are 13 or 14 on the team, and we field 10 players. It's not like baseball. You actually have an extra outfielder.
Oh, okay.
And you have 4 outfielders. And,
I don't know that.
So there's guys on the that are there. So there's and then we have people in the that come watch us play, because we were actually not a bad team.
Oh, that's awesome.
And not everybody sticks around. Some people do go home. But there's about 6 or 7 of us that do.
Yeah.
It's a pretty regular group of us. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. And you said some of them just go home and not participate in those activities?
In the drinking afterwards, that's right. No, they don't. They obviously participate in the game. So.
Oh. And speaking of positions with softball, what do you play?
I play a number of positions. Third base. I can play shortstop, but I don't like it. Left field, I play left and right center, and I've also played second base. So there's a number of places. We move around a little bit, but I'm primarily third base.
Oh,
third
okay.
base.
That's a pretty important position.
Yeah. Hot corner. So.
Something that makes me curious, an idea just kind of, well, not an idea, but a thought just popped into my head. Do you personally know somebody that used to drink quite a bit and then stopped? And the reason why I'm asking you that question is because maybe you could talk to that person and seek advice from him, and maybe that person could teach you or give you strategies to resist the temptation to consume these beverages. I didn't know if you knew somebody or not. I just figured I'd ask.
There's one fella who used to drink with us, and he stopped. I think it was affecting his health. So, but we don't talk much anymore. He doesn't hang out after. He's just there for the game now.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, softball.
Yeah. He used to come darts.
Yeah.
And he isn't much of a bowler, but he used to like to come to the bar.
Oh, okay.
And, so he ended up stopping. I think he was having some problems with his stomach and his liver.
Wow.
So he quit.
So the person that you know that went through all that, what was his name?
Alan.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what were these? Do you know what were the health problems that he was combating?
His stomach and his liver.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was anything specific with that, or.
No, I think he went to his doctor, and same as me, he just having some stomach and bowel issues, and his doctor told him, I guess they did some blood tests, and they said, man, you need to, we talked very briefly about it.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, yeah, man, I can't do it anymore. And that's pretty much all he said. I got some health issues going on.
Mm-hmm.
So he still plays. I don't know if he's going to be playing with us this year. He may be moving to another team that doesn't do the same things we do. So, I don't know.
Oh.
So.
Okay. So, I mean, I can completely get why he chose to alleviate himself from the drinking based on his stomach and liver problems that his doctor detected.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? I'm curious to know how long it's been since he's consumed alcohol.
He probably 2 years.
2 years.
Mm. It's been a couple of years since he last hung out. So.
Okay. And you mentioned that he only just plays softball with you all, and then he goes home.
Yeah, because he used to do softball and darts, and occasionally come out to bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But he stopped that primarily because bowling, we're in the league, and he really wasn't on the roster, and we kind of had to. He didn't like it anyway, so it was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I think he was doing it because he wanted to drink. So
I see.
He wasn't really there to bowl.
Yeah,
and
he was going to drink.
Once we kind of told him, if you want to bowl, you got to put you on the roster, and you got to be here every week. And he didn't want to do that. So,
Yeah, I can. I can understand all that completely, because you guys need someone that's willing to be there, and I mean, you all would just like to know if he's going to be there or not. So I definitely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever, with all that being said, have you ever reached out to him?
No.
Well, are you willing to contact him about how he was able to stop drinking alcohol entirely?
Well, I don't want to stop. So I want to get through what I got to get through, and get back to life as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really. Stopping's not not something I'm interested in. I like the way things are. It's not going to make my wife happy. It's not going to make my doctor happy. Maybe I'm just hard-headed or stupid. Maybe I need something really bad to happen. But until that occurs, it's just how I live. It's just, I'm successful at what I do, and make a good income. My wife has a good job, so between us, we bring home 6 figures plus.
Oh, that's good.
And so, we have a nice house, and we have vehicles. Each of us have a vehicle, and so the way I've lived has worked. It's so I'm not looking to change anything else.
Yeah. Well, I totally get your satisfaction, especially considering the amount of income that you and your wife bring to the table, and how good your performance is at your job, based on what you're telling me. I don't know if I've ever asked, just out of curiosity, what does your wife do for employment?
She works at a bank.
Oh, okay.
She works at SunTrust.
Oh,
she's she's actually a financial advisor down there. She does that. She actually does two. She works there like 30 hours a week, and then she's got her own kind of separate. She's incorporated herself, and she does consulting from home and some private investment.
Oh, okay.
Work. So
hell,
she makes pretty good money doing it too. So.
Well, yes. I mean, that definitely sounds like she has a lot on her hands in terms of what she does for work, and it's definitely. I mean, the income's definitely something that you both can't complain about. I mean,
that's why I could afford my own attorney.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's actually he's an attorney we keep on retainer. Because she has one for her individual business, even though it's only about 20 hours a week, and then I'm considering I've been working for somebody else for a long time, been really good at it, but I've actually thought about branching out on my own, and if I were to do that, I'd need an attorney, some legal advice. So we pay for someone to just so if we pay a monthly fee, and then we call up there, and that's what they do. They're on a retainer.
Yeah. So you mentioned wanting to branch out. Can you elaborate more on that?
Well, I've been doing construction for a long time, and I can do anything construction-wise. And about 25 years ago, I started messing around with machining, and I bought a few and put them in my garage. I have a lathe. I have different machines to make parts.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that kind of on the side, and I've become pretty good at it. And so I thought about not only doing some contracting, but starting sort of a contracting machining business. And there are a few electronic firms in the area that have expressed interest in buying some stuff from me. Problem is they're not high volume, but I might have to. I wouldn't be able to stay at my current job, so I'm looking into that. So I might have to. Matter of fact, what I'm looking into doing is building like just a really big shed on our property, and putting all the machines out there and just getting some new ones. And they're expensive.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. I mean, if I were to get like a CNC machine, that's like $150,000. And,
yeah.
It's a big machine, you know, there's aluminum filings and shavings, and you know you gotta get those off the property, and then there's oils that the CNC machine uses, and so it's a lot to it. So I've been kind of exploring it, and yeah. So.
Well, I understand I understand you wanting to explore all of these options and making adjustments and everything in order to further satisfy yourself in terms of you being a hardworking employee.
Mm-hmm.
It appears to me that you value your hard work.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's a fair assumption.
Sure.
And moving on to a different subject, going back to the alcohol consumption,
mm-hmm.
do you have any family members in terms of like maybe your parents or cousins, aunts, uncles that have consumed alcohol more frequently than usual?
Oh, yeah. My mom is from in the mountains in Virginia. She's, you know, one of 16, youngest of 16.
Oh, wow.
I have aunts and uncles.
Big family.
Some who were dead before I was born, and
Mm-hmm.
got uncles who fought in World War II in Korea.
Oh, wow.
And quite a number of them drink beer on. I don't know if they're heavy drinkers or not, but I remember going there as a kid, and they always were drinking beer. So it's just, you know, part of that side of the family.
Yeah.
On my dad's side, nah, not really. I mean, my dad would have. He used to keep like a fifth of whiskey, and it would take him months and months to finish it. Because he would just have a drink every so often, a mixed drink at night.
Yeah.
Not very often.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just wasn't something he did. My mom, you know, she drank a little more, but not much. And, you know, they're both deceased. So, you know, I got aunts and uncles that are still alive. And like I say, on my dad's side, there's no alcohol was never an issue. On my mom's side, like I say, my uncles, man, they were beer drinkers. Not all of them, but you know, quite a few of them. The ones that I knew.
Oh, yeah, because you mentioned that the family's very large.
Yeah.
So with that being said, with your uncles and aunts from your mom's side of the family, you don't know for sure how much they drank.
No, I mean, like I said, I haven't seen any of my uncles in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Virginia and West Virginia and North Carolina, and you know, when my parents passed, we didn't visit that often, but when we did, they would drink, and I was younger, and I was playing with my cousins. I wasn't paying all that much attention.
Yeah.
But I always noticed that these guys are always drinking beer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just when we were there,
mm-hmm.
or if they did it more often. I never asked anybody about it.
Yeah.
I didn't really care. So.
Well, with you mentioning that you haven't spoken to a good portion of your family members in quite some time,
mm-hmm.
have you given any thought of reaching out to them and telling them about your situation to see what they would suggest?
What do you mean?
Well, what I'm trying to ask is, have you thought about talking to any of your aunts or uncles or cousins about the conflict with you and your wife in terms of your drinking?
No. I mean, like I say, I haven't seen him in so long. It would be kind of weird just to call up and say, "Hey, this is Wayne, your nephew, who you haven't seen in 30 years."
Oh, it's been that long.
And
wow.
You know, my wife and I are scrapping over my drinking. You know, I mean, they'd be like, "Okay, well, I haven't seen you in a long time. What do you have to say?" You know, so it would be kind of awkward.
Well, I can totally understand how awkward that may be, given that you were saying that you haven't seen them in at least a decade or so, which is a long time for going without talking to someone. But with that being said, I believe our session has expired, and I have another client coming in a couple minutes, so I got my hands full with today. But so is that all right if we meet here at the same time next week?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll talk to the girl up front.
Yeah, and before you do anything else, I just wanted to. I want you to tell me for the next session how your AA meeting went, how all of your other legal stuff is going. And,
well, I got to call my attorney. I may not have been to a meeting next time we meet, but I'll give you an update on what's happening.
I'm very curious to hear about that, and if you ever change your mind about reaching out to Alan and just having a conversation with him, with him stopping the drink and everything, let me know about that. I'm pretty curious to hear what he went through when he decided to alleviate himself from drinking.
Okay.
So those are the things I had in mind for how we start our next session.
Okay.
And, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.